Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth. He commanded armies. He answered to no one. Yet every single morning before dawn, he sat alone in his study and wrote. Not letters, not decrees, personal journal entries, for no one but himself. If the most powerful man in the world needed this daily practice to stay in control, what does that tell you about what you're missing? In the next 9 minutes, you'll learn exactly what Marcus wrote, why it mattered, and the 60-second version you can start tonight that changes everything. Marcus Aurelius had everything. Absolute power, infinite resources, the respect of millions. And yet, at the beginning of most mornings, he sat down and did something that would seem almost laughable to his generals and advisors. He wrote in a journal, not a public journal, not for his legacy, for one reader only, himself. This wasn't a nice hobby. It wasn't self-help journaling like we think of it today. It was the foundational practice that kept an empire stable. And it's exactly what men over 40 are missing. Marcus inherited the empire at 40 years old. He was powerful, yes, but he was also terrified. He knew that external power, armies, wealth, authority, was fragile, that the real battle happened in his own mind. Every day brought decisions that affected millions. Every decision tempted him toward corruption, cruelty, or compromise. The practice of writing was his answer to a simple question. Who do I want to be today? Not as emperor, not as the most powerful man alive, as a man, just a man trying to stay decent. Marcus understood something that most powerful men never learn. Discipline isn't something you do for an audience. Discipline is something you do for yourself, in private, when no one is watching. Because the man you are in private is the man you become in public. That's why he wrote. Not to feel better, not for therapy, but to answer the question, am I still myself today? In Chapter 2, you're going to see the exact words Marcus actually used, and they're not what you expect. When you read Marcus's personal journal, what we know as meditations, you don't see poetry or pretty philosophy. You see a man reminding himself of basic truths. You have power over your mind, not outside events. He wrote this not because he believed it perfectly. He wrote it because he needed to be reminded. Every morning. His most famous line was this: confine yourself to the present, not the anxieties about the future, not the regrets of the past, just this moment, this decision, this breath. Marcus wrote the same themes over and over, not because he was boring, but because he was human, and human beings forget. We slip, we fall back into old patterns. So he wrote them again, and again, and again. The practice wasn't enlightenment, it was maintenance, like an athlete stretching before competition, like a warrior sharpening his blade. Marcus sharpened his mind. Every morning entry followed the same pattern, a truth he needed to remember, why that truth mattered, how he would apply it today. That's it. That's the entire practice. In Chapter 3, you'll understand why this practice is non-negotiable for men over 40. It's not what you think. By 40, most men have accumulated 2 decades of decisions, some good, some they regret. And there's a natural psychological shift that happens around 40. The stakes become real. You realize that you can't redo the past. Time is actually finite. Your choices matter more than they used to. This is when most men either wake up or collapse. They either take control of their internal world, or they let external circumstances control them. Marcus's practice was designed specifically for this moment, not for young men building empires, for aging men protecting what they've built, for aging men protecting who they are. The practice answers 3 questions every morning. Who do I want to be today? What threats to that person exist? What will I do about them? For a man over 40, these aren't abstract questions. Who do I want to be today? Not the approval seeker I was at 30. Not the man my family expects me to be. Who do I actually want to be? What threats exist? Fear, ego, the pressure to prove myself, resentment, bitterness about time past. What will I do? That's the practice. By writing, Marcus forced himself to get specific. Not vague wisdom, specific decisions. Today someone will disrespect me. I will respond with patience. Today I will feel afraid. I will do it anyway. Today I will remember that my relevance comes from my character, not their approval. This is not journaling for emotional release. This is strategic thinking. This is preparation for war. The war against your own weak impulses. In Chapter 4, you get the exact 60-second version. And you can start it tonight. You don't have time for what Marcus did. You're not an emperor with servants handling logistics. So here's the practice that works for modern men. Every morning, 60 seconds. Step 1, 15 seconds. Write one truth you need to remember. Not something poetic, something specific to your life. I can't control what people think. I can control my character. Fear is expected. Action is optional. My age is not a decline. It's clarity. Step 2, 22nd, write one threat you'll face today. My boss will question my relevance. I'll feel tempted to explain myself when I shouldn't. I'll want to perform instead of just being present. Step 3, 22nd, write one thing you'll do differently. I will respond with calm authority, not defensiveness. I will let my silence speak. I will be exactly myself without apologizing for it. That's it. 60 seconds. Every morning. By the end of a week, something shifts. You stop being reactive. You become intentional. By the end of a month, people notice. They don't know why, but you're different, more grounded, more present, less desperate. By the end of 90 days, you've rebuilt your internal world, and the external world has to adjust. This is what Marcus understood. This is what made him powerful. Not armies, not intelligence, not position, but the daily practice of knowing exactly who he was and refusing to compromise that. You're over 40. Time feels different now. More precious, more urgent. That urgency is actually a gift. It's pushing you to take control of the one thing that matters, your internal world, your character, your decisions, your values. Marcus knew that if you control that, everything else follows. Empire, respect, influence, peace. Start tonight. 60 seconds, just you and your truth. That's where the real power begins.